Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back another video from 6, and today we're checking out, has Sasuke actually ever won a fight? And I don't know where this is going, because Sasuke has won fights, but I think he's lost a lot. Like, I instantly thought of the Danzo fight. He won that. In fact, he kind of won against Itachi, you know. But let's see where this goes.
Sasuke, over the course of the series, has gotten beaten up plenty of times. A lot of the time when Sasuke leaves a fight, he's in pretty bad condition. And the end of these fights sometimes leave it questionable as to who the victor actually is.
Oh, okay, yeah, because Deidara did that to himself. Oh, okay.
It's pretty easy to say in response to the claim posed in the title of the video that Sasuke beat random fodder samurai and that should technically count as him winning a fight. However, I don't think anyone making this claim is focused on Sasuke taking small W's as a result of him being one of the main characters. For this video, let's establish a bit what a fight actually is.
Okay.
And I'll define it as any hostile interaction
What is a fight?
where ninjutsu, genjutsu, or taijutsu is used with the intent to seriously harm or kill another person.
Right, okay.
For the sake of not nitpicking as well, anything the show calls a fight or a battle, we will also consider as such. I think most people generally mean this whenever they say Sasuke never won a fight anyway. Now that we've defined a fight, what does it mean to win? Most fights in Naruto have an explicit goal behind them. If either party is able to accomplish this goal, we'll consider this a win for them. And aside from that, the winner of the fight can be determined by factors on a case-by-case basis. With the criteria laid out in a somewhat vague way that I can change my definition to fit my biases, we can begin talking about the fight Sasuke actually won.
Cool, okay.
Sasuke's first win would technically come from when he faced Naruto in the academy as part of training, but no one cares about that.
No.
Sasuke's real first win, or what I consider to be his first win, is against the Demon Brothers, two Chunin on the first mission
Yeah, definitely. That was so cool as well.
Sasuke had ever been on.
Alright, I love we're doing this in the corner. What's the middle one? Got W. Okay.
Let me be clear on why I'm willing to give Sasuke this win. Sasuke completely outplayed both of these ninjas multiple times within this battle, with his Shuriken Jutsu and general high IQ in combat. Sasuke's goal is to protect Tazuna, and he does that effectively against both of them before Kakashi decides to cut in and end the fight himself. Questioning whether or not Sasuke could have beaten these two without Kakashi is kind of pointless. Sasuke didn't even break a sweat doing this according to Naruto, and given how we didn't even see him pull out the fireball jutsu, I'm inclined to believe this is true. Character confidence isn't a great source of evidence, but Sasuke also got annoyed that Kakashi butted into the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Given how Sasuke protected Tazuna and outplayed the brothers at every turn here, we'll call this a win. Sasuke's next fight is with Team 7 against Zabuza, but I won't count this as a Sasuke fight since his participation in it as an actual combatant is minimal, and honestly, it'd just be a way to sneak a W in for him since Kakashi is on his team and Kakashi won this fight with his and Naruto's help. Sasuke does lose to Haku, however. Granted, he did sacrifice himself, it's still a loss. It's not as if sacrificing himself is
Mate, this arc in Naruto was just so sick, weren't it? Oh my god, I've rewatched it so many times.
The only possible thing that could have happened. If you put Kakashi or Hiruzen in this example, they'd easily be capable of saving Naruto without self-sacrifice. And I know this is an extreme example, and I'm not saying that I expect Sasuke to be on the level of the Hokage or the village's top Jonin. Just saying if he was strong enough, he could have accomplished this in a better way. Sasuke continues his losing streak heading into the next arc, where he immediately loses to Rock Lee even after using his Sharingan. He does pick up a quick win on this shinobi from the Rain Village, making him retreat, but this is just a lowercase W, as this guy isn't really important at all. Unfortunately, Sasuke runs into Orochimaru next, which this is a fight he was bound to lose, so I don't even know how much I want to count it, but aside from the fact Sasuke lost, he does do enough to impress Orochimaru here. After awakening from his coma in the Curse Mark Stage 1, he easily defeats Zaku, claiming another W, although this is kind of a lowercase W as Zaku isn't too impressive or important.
Right, lowercase W.
Sasuke gets into a fight with the Rain Ninja from earlier while almost out of chakra and with the aid of Team 7 and Kabuto, so we won't count this one for either side. Sasuke is right back to being impressive again in the next stage of the Chunin exams, claiming a victory over an opponent that can quite literally drain his chakra. Sasuke's next battle is hard to judge as when he faced Gaara in the Chunin exams, but there are two arguments here. You can say Sasuke beat Gaara at the exams since Gaara had to retreat and therefore would have forfeited the match, which would lead you to say Sasuke lost later on to Gaara when they had their round 2 in the forest. Either of these is a really fine interpretation to me. If you think that Sasuke didn't beat Gaara at all, go ahead. And if you want to say Sasuke won against Gaara but lost the second round, that's also a valid interpretation.
Okay.
Nevertheless, Sasuke loses his next fight without question. But how could we expect him to beat his big brother Itachi?
Yeah, there's no way.
After being put in a coma for weeks and at the peak of insecurity, Sasuke challenges Naruto, who had grown significantly, to a battle. The fight on top of the rooftop is another fight that's hard to judge because while it technically ended in a draw,
yeah, Sasuke kind of thought, oh damn, I could have lost that. Yeah.
The aftermath of how their jutsu interacted with the water tanks will lead you to the conclusion that if their jutsu were to have clashed here,
Sasuke
Naruto would have won.
Yeah.
Now, outside of that, Sasuke clearly views it as a loss, since, although not directly,
It's what makes him decide he wants to go, isn't it? Like,
it influenced his decision to leave the village.
yeah.
Sasuke then gets beat up on by the Sound 4 ninja, which officially puts him on his first 3-fight losing streak, at least if you count the Rasengan thing as an L. Sasuke versus Naruto is where his luck turns around. We're not going to see Sasuke lose for a while here, so prepare to hear glaze at least a little. Sasuke beats Naruto despite Naruto having a superior jutsu and pulling out more of the Nine Tails power than he ever had before. Realistically, Sasuke won this fight like 3 times, so while I think it's true that the story would have been different if Naruto didn't try to scratch Sasuke's headband, that doesn't mean it would have ended Sasuke losing. It might have been another draw. Sasuke one-shots Naruto out of his one-tailed form, and although you can attribute this to Naruto as well, he tanked the fallout from the clash of Chidori and Rasengan. To wrap up Sasuke's L's and W's in part 1, there are 4 real W's, 2 lowercase w's, 6 outright losses, making him have a ratio of 1.0. At least he ended off on a win though. Going into Shippuden, we don't really see Sasuke for a while, but he has a lot more interactions in this section of the manga than he did in the last, and his abilities have grown so he has access to way more ways to injure or harm someone. The first of these negative interactions we see is with Sai, where he puts him under a genjutsu. Since this wasn't really a fight at all, and more so was just Sasuke intimidating someone he didn't like, we won't
Just kind of flexing.
Sasuke versus Team 7, however, is 100% a win for him, especially since if not for being stopped by Orochimaru, he would have one-shot them all. Naruto gets dealt with easily, Sai gets dealt with easily, Yamato claims to be holding back.
Ain't no way Sakura's doing anything. Let's be honest.
Even then, he says he's holding back for the sake of how Naruto and Sakura felt about Sasuke, so it shouldn't mean he's holding back his defenses anyway, which Sasuke overcomes those relatively easy anyway. I won't count these as separate W's for Sasuke, it's just one big fight, so it's another W on his record. The same logic will follow for the next example, where Sasuke beats what I can only assume is around 100 shinobi, all without dealing lethal damage, which should take even more finesse than just running through them. This prompts Orochimaru to...
You know what? I forgot about this moment. I really need to reread. I remember pretty much everything about part 1, and I think that says a lot about part 1. I remember a lot about part 1. I forget a lot about Shippuden, part 2. I am manga mainly. There's still filler in Shippuden that I have not watched to this day, which is madness. But yeah, it's crazy.
Question his own standing as a genius compared to the ridiculous prodigy that is Sasuke. So add another W on the board for Sasuke. Sasuke's next fight is Orochimaru himself, where due to his weakness from being so sick, Sasuke is able to get the upper hand.
He does win
off with Itachi level genjutsu, absorbing him into his body, sort of becoming Orochimaru's Jinchuriki. Now Orochimaru is sick here, so we'll only count this as a lowercase w. Sasuke's next few fights are all against these nameless curse mark experiment guys, and obviously none of them can touch him. This would be like another 15 wins on his record, but just like with the other examples of this kind of thing, we're only going to count this as one W for Sasuke. Sasuke's most controversial match is this
The wins are looking a little bit better than the losses here at the moment, aren't they?
next one, however, his fight with Datara. And this is 100% a win for Sasuke.
Oh,
Datara copping out.
that is really interesting take. That's really interesting. I clap. He has forced Data, I suppose, to use that technique. So,
The
okay.
fight does not discredit the fact that Sasuke broke Datara's techniques down over the course of the fight and put him in a position where his techniques would no longer work on him. Sasuke won this fight, end of story. And if you don't want to say Sasuke won this fight because he didn't kill Datara, you must think Naruto has never won a fight either, because Naruto has never killed anyone. And yes, that means whatever example you're thinking of in your head right now, Naruto did not directly kill the person. He literally never does it.
Huh.
So, W for Sasuke.
Huh.
Sasuke's win streak continues, but in a weird way, as his next opponent is his brother Itachi. We all know why this is weird. Because
Yeah.
Sasuke shouldn't have won this fight,
No.
but Itachi let him win. We're just going to count this as a lowercase w.
Lower one. Alright, okay, that's fine.
Sasuke's win streak officially ends in his next fight, however, against B. That's because Sasuke didn't actually accomplish his mission and was outsmarted by B. Had Sasuke actually captured B, then I would have counted this as a win for him. But as it stands, everything that Sasuke or Team Taka did, B had an answer for, and he was able to get away from them without being captured. This is another L on Sasuke's record, and his first official L in Shippuden. Now, Sasuke's next fight is the 5 Kage, and there are a couple ways you could split this up, but in the hope of cutting down the unnecessary fluff of the video, I'm just going to tell you how I split this up. I view this as two separate fights, Team A and Team Inoki. Team A is when Sasuke first arrives and ends when Sasuke leaves the room to go find Danzo. Sasuke's goal when entering the summit is to find Danzo. He has no interest in actually killing the rest of the 5 Kage, but they attack him and he has to defend himself, and more importantly, he has to get past them in order to get to Danzo. That being said, Sasuke evolves a few times and manages to leave this room even stronger thanks to his upgraded Susanoo,
Yeah,
and no one in the room was able to successfully stop him from advancing. So we'll count this as a Sasuke W.
Okay.
In the next room, however, Sasuke undoubtedly loses again. As you see Inoki about to literally
Oh,
end
but
him
yeah, he would have
before Obito comes
blasted
to save
him
the day.
away.
And when appearing again, we see Sasuke was actually unconscious. This next fight is another one of Sasuke's infamous controversial wins, and it's for the same reason that the Datara fight was controversial. Sasuke doesn't actually get the kill on Danzo, and Danzo takes himself out before that can happen. I have the same thing to say about this fight that I did about the Datara fight, and that's that this is a Sasuke W 100%.
Yeah, I'm down with that, yeah.
It's not his fault that his opponents are choosing to do this at the end of their fights. Sasuke fights with his former teammates after this.
Mate, no, Sasuke completely outclassed Danzo with that. He tricked Danzo into thinking that he still had a Sharingan open on his arm. So he went in thinking it was working. That was absolutely sick.
But if anything, this just ends in a draw, so there's no way to swing it either way. I could get into hypotheticals, but I want to talk about the actual conclusions of these fights, not something that I could just make up. Sasuke is out of commission for a long time after this fight. You don't see him in action again until chapter 553, where he's beating up a bunch of white Zetsu. I'll count these all as one lowercase w for Sasuke. White Zetsu are basically the fodder of the war, so Sasuke is not getting much respect for beating them. The next fight is a tag team match against Kabuto with Itachi, and I almost didn't want to count this, except I remembered Sasuke did actually help in taking down Kabuto, and Itachi used a couple of his setups to actually land the Izanami, so I feel like I have to count this one. I'll only give this a lowercase w though, since
Gotta
Itachi did a lot of
say.
the heavy lifting in this fight.
Itachi definitely did.
From here until the end of the war, Sasuke doesn't really have any fight that isn't a team battle where they're jumping whatever opponent. So while he is an active shinobi, the only W's he can rack up are on the random Jubi clones that everyone can beat, so it's not like I'm going to count that towards any of his record. His last fight is with Naruto, and as you can tell from the thumbnail of this video, Sasuke admits he lost this fight with
There you go.
Naruto, despite
I
on
lost.
paper how it seemed more like a draw. This video was mainly made to address the criticism that Sasuke doesn't win fights, since for the most part, I think it's one of those overblown criticisms that no one really stops
Seems
to
it.
think
Look at the
about.
numbers. Numbers don't
Over the
lie.
course of this
Numbers
video,
don't
I've
lie.
shown that Sasuke has won at least 16 fights and lost 9 of them. So he has a winning record. It's not like he's constantly getting beat up by everybody. Fights like Sasuke had with the Raikage or his 2 controversial wins against Danzo and Deidara are likely why so many people view Sasuke this way without actually taking into account the context behind said fights. Sasuke lands the opening blow on the Raikage with his Chidori, and even though it doesn't do lethal damage, this is the only time in the entire series that the Raikage's lightning armor was pierced through in the series,
Crazy.
and no one mentions that. To even harm Sasuke in the first place, the Raikage had to sacrifice an arm. Sasuke blocked
That's
the
a
Liger Blow
lot.
with his
That is a
Susanoo,
lot.
avoided the elbow with his Susanoo, stopped the V2 assault with his Amaterasu wall until the Raikage decided he didn't care about losing his arm, and the follow-up attack is the same. The Raikage would have lost a leg or potentially even more if he went through with attacking Sasuke the way he did, on top of the fact that it might not have even killed Sasuke. Then, the Deidara fight, I have an entire video breaking down, but
Yo, it's so
briefly
good
go
as well.
over
How
some
clever
of
the
these
fight
things.
is, yeah.
Sasuke did face adversity versus Deidara, but Sasuke had an answer for everything that Deidara did in that fight and effectively nullified his best weapons. Even at the end, Deidara thought he got Sasuke by sacrificing his life, but Sasuke outplayed that as well and got away using Manda.
Yeah, which was so quick, but like, what a ruthless thing to do. Summon the giant snake, just be like, tank that, please.
Detail I was unable to cover in my breakdown of the fight is that Sasuke doesn't just summon Manda while out of chakra here. He specifically uses the summoning formula written into his wrist to summon Manda. You can see after he comes out of Manda's mouth, he's missing his wrist guard. We actually saw this utilized back in part 1 when Orochimaru is unable to weave hand signs. Kabuto summons Manda for Orochimaru
Oh,
using
yeah.
the summoning formula on his wrist. I still stand by the statement I made in the original video that summoning Manda is never implied to use a huge amount of chakra the same way summoning Gamabunta is, but I think people give Sasuke a lot more credit in this situation than he deserves anyway. People act as if Sasuke summons Manda, genjutsus him, reverse summon himself, and then has Suigetsu summon him back with absolutely no consequences. This is obviously not the case because Manda was caught in the explosion. So
Yeah.
all that happened before C0 went off are the 2 things I mentioned first, which is that Sasuke summons Manda and genjutsus him. I don't have much to say about the Danzo fight. There are no hidden details in that one the same way there are with the Sasuke and Deidara fight. It's really just a battle of attrition, but this video has been long enough anyway. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel, but other than that, have a nice day.
Very cool. That was very cool. Yeah, I like that. Interesting look. So it was like approaching a statement that people have put out there that Sasuke's never won a fight before. Very cool. Very, very cool. It's weird. I can see that I've got no background or anything here at the moment. But yeah, it'll become very apparent why very, very soon. Yeah. Thanks for watching.